Hello and welcome to this review. If you give me just a second, I'll just set myself up so I can manage this properly. I have no idea if anybody at all will dial into this one, but doesn't matter. Some people will probably watch it later and I'll tweet about it anyway, just in case. And I'll post, I've got my Discord integration set up and I'll post that as well. So thanks for bearing with me if you're watching this after the recording, which probably most people will. It doesn't take very long. Right, okay. So let's take that music down and let's get started. So thank you very much for watching this. Oops. First of all, as I so normally I've done these as a separate video, as part of the daily charts video, but I figured let's try doing it as a separate video and let's see how that works. And part of the reason is so that they're more easy to find, more accessible, more easy to share, etc., rather than trying to share both videos at the same time, which is a bit more clunky. One of the disclaimers that I always mention before posting any kind of review is that this is not a fair review of a project, if such a thing is even possible. It's just a perspective, like it's just my perspective as I encounter the project, what I look for, my thinking process, what I'm thinking about in terms of investing or not investing. And in the case of something like in the case of any project, it's always a bit of an unfair review because I'm not going to have access to all the information that's needed to fairly evaluate the project, again, if that's even possible at all. So it's definitely not going to be a complete review, but I'm doing the best that I can, and hopefully just understanding my thinking process might be helpful to people. So without further ado, let's dive into Coolcats. Right. So I mean, we have a website here that's like, I mean, got that Coolcats aesthetic, and obviously Coolcats has been running for a long time. It's an OG project by now. It's been in the top 10 for ages. It's a project that I'm very familiar with being in the space, but I've not actually looked into the details of the project. I had some kind of thoughts about it, but I never really did an in-depth research because for me it was just out of the kind of price range that I wanted to invest in. But let's have a proper look. So we've got a website that looks fairly cool. It's got, okay, these things which seem to just link to later on the page. Adventure awaits. So some kind of, I mean, it's not clear what this adventure is. I'm guessing is some, I mean, I know that is some sort of game that they've been building. So I imagine this is connected to the game. There's quests connected to the game. There's milk token that you can earn, which you can use to purchase pet supplies. Lore, of course. I mean, if there's a game, there should be lore. I guess there's an implication that there might be land as well at some point, maybe on the other side. Oh, who knows? Housing, so you can there's things that you can do in the game battles. One thing that I have to say is like one of the things that I normally look like, when I look at a game, the first thing I want to see is a video of the game. And I mean, if you look at, I don't know, let's take Fortnite. I assume it's Fortnite.com. There you go. Okay, this one just has play now instead. But there we go. There's a usually there's a video that comes up where you can watch, where you can get a sense of the game. This one is probably more a trailer than a gameplay video, but like having some kind of video of the game would be good, because I mean, for me, that's one of the ways I decide whether I want to play a game. When I'm on Steam and I'm deciding, do I download this game or not? There's a good reason why Steam lists the videos first before screenshots, before any other information. Videos are the way that you sell people onto games these days. So there's not a lot more information on that front page. I noticed there's wow, a lot of information here, which I'll have to look into, including a Medium. Medium could be quite interesting because there's a bit bigger, like, so with a project this old as well, with so much history, I think there's also a kind of a factor that it might have changed over time. So I'm quite curious to have a look at the Medium to see in particular, so not the recent announcements, but the earliest announcements, because that might give me a sense of what the project was. So let me have a quick read through this. So there's a character. So when I first encountered Coolcats, when I first heard about Coolcats, or thought about it, was around the time I encountered Robotos as well. And to me, there was a similarity between Robotos and Coolcats, which is a kind of artist focus. And I see that here as well. Okay, the Blue Cat, etc. Art shows. Create an opportunity for the masses to become part of the Coolcat community. And like kind of Coolcat story and ecosystem. So that matches very well with Roboto's approach. So basically the generic type of project there is what I call Artist Launchpad, which is about creating a cool fictional universe that people can get involved in and participate in, and they can express their creativity within that universe, and just, you know, add more fun and more joy and stuff in their life. And if that universe then takes off and builds something really successful, then the original NFTs become really valuable collector items, which to an extent, I guess that's already happened with Coolcats, in the sense that, like, it's already had a lot of success. I mean, it's trading, what is the price of it at the moment? It's quite substantial. I think it was in the 5-6 ETH range. Yeah, so like it's around 6 ETH. Like, and I think I did encounter somewhere that it's minted at 0.02 or something like that. So it's had huge growth from its original. Yeah, there you go, 0.06, and then 0.02. So it's had huge growth from where it started. This was back in July last year, and it's still going. And, you know, it's to the credit of this project that it's still going. And I guess it's probably pivoted in a number of ways since then. There's a lot of information here, and obviously I'm not going to be able to incorporate all of it into my review. Let's click on roadmap. That gives us a sense of what they're trying to do. So cool pets, milk, charity events, artist spotlight. It's like, one thing that I wish this website was better at doing is kind of conveying why the project exists. Like, you know, what like, again, it's my usual question, you know, why does this exist? What's its purpose? Why should I want to buy into this story? Like, what's the motivation for me as somebody encountering this project to join it? Without that motivation stated anywhere, I think the default ends up being, oh, you should buy it because it's a good investment or whatever. Like, you know, especially in the NFT space as it is right now, where people are very focused on investment. More fun in store, Paper Cat release, new user and developer onboarding, story-based system. We are in Q2 now, so this is where we should be. Another artist spotlight, a place to call home. Okay, so it's not entirely clear what they're building there. I mean, I know that there's a game. The game is not really mentioned here. Like, if you're building a game, basically, then you should pitch that. I mean, right now it's not like, I think there's a lot of, and this is the case of a lot of NFT projects, because there's such a echo chamber and bubble of NFTs that everybody knows about Coolcats. Well, no, everybody in NFT knows NFTs knows about Coolcats. Most people outside of NFTs have no idea about Coolcats, and they have no idea why they want to engage with this website at all. And this website, as it is currently, doesn't really give them a reason to engage unless they've already built that reason to engage from before. Now, if you are, like, we were looking at the Fortnite website before, if you are like global mega brand that really everybody knows about, you can afford to take a bit of liberty with the clarity of the pitch. but most people outside of NFTs don't know about Coolcats. And the customers for this game should be, if it is going to be a game that's not just a way to redistribute money inside the ecosystem, the customers for this game should be finding, like, should have a way to find out about it. And the website should be a way to find out about it. And here it's like, okay, it talks about things that are features of games. It doesn't really convey why those are more fun than in any other game. Like, any of these features listed here could be implemented in a really boring way or in a really interesting way. I mean, clearly they must have done something right to survive this long, but the website isn't really good at communicating this. Let's have a look at this. What was it called? Story. So click on things. We get little stories here. Okay. Stories of Cooltopia. Nothing on the cactus. Catabet. Okay. This is a bunch of like lore type stuff. Cooltopia map coming soon. Yeah, I mean, it is very confusing, I think, for somebody who doesn't know anything about Coolcats. Like, let's have another look at the medium just to see if we get some more out of this. So we started with the introduction to Coolcats, which that introduction, by the way, does make it sound like an artist launchpad. Won't realize the true potential, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. We looked at the launch price and pivots, giving away lucky cats, holders only competition. Let's have a look at this. Maybe there's a kind of statement of purpose somewhere in here. NFTs take on many forms. Aliens. Yeah, I think Alien Friends looks exactly like Coolcats. Hope no Alien Friends come and burn me at the stake for this, but I think, if you look at the aesthetic of Coolcats and the aesthetic of Alien Friends, there's just a bit of similarity. Spanning many different styles. So I get the sense from reading this that, and this is just my impression, it might be completely different. The reality of what they actually experience might be totally different. But I get the sense from reading this that they were very surprised that it was so successful, which is fair enough. I think, back in July last year, everybody was probably very surprised about how successful the space became. But they also kind of didn't really know what to do with it, and they decided to use our voice to promote the entire NFT community, which, that sounds very wagmy and stuff, but it's not very good in terms of delivering value. And see, that's an interesting take, which I think is a very similar, very, very accurate criticism of the NFT space as it has been so far. Which NFT is best? Which one has the best roadmap, best art, best team, best vision for the future? This assumes that there is a single best NFT. And it's a vision where each NFT is vying to be, each NFT project is vying to be the one that grabs the attention, that's the best, that's the one that's leading, and so on, wants to be the next Basie, the next Azukis, the next Coolcats, etc. Whilst my vision of the NFT space is many of them can be the best in their own ways. There's no single best, just like there's no single best small business. You're not going to say that Google is the best or Facebook is the best. I mean, there's a lot of small businesses anymore, but taking, I don't know, you might have preferences between startups that provide similar services, but it's not about which one is the best. They're just different. It's just so much thing that can be done. It's not about competition between projects. And even though they try to reject this narrative, that's the narrative that they're operating within at this point anyway. and they try to reject it by partnering with as many NFTs as possible. Like, and this has nothing to do with a game. That seems to be what they've built since then. So I'm kind of wondering if what's happened is that they have been kind of trying to find the direction. Like the success was a bit unexpected, and the project has been trying to find its direction. The roadmap that came out in August at the heyday of NFTs last year. Community outreach, airdrop, diversifying Coolcats. The Coolcats metaverse, because that's probably where the game started. And they decided to go for the metaverse play, which I'm not very keen on the metaverse play. As I've explained in threads, I'm not going to explain this now. More airdrops, merch, naming system, paper cats. So kind of way for people to paper trade, I guess. Banner creator. So like I kind of get a sense of a project that is just trying to figure itself out and trying to find its direction and decide what it wants to be. And it seems like one of the things they decided they want to be is a game, because that's what I keep hearing about them. Like if you hear about the discourse around Coolcats these days, it's all about the I think it's called Cooltopia. Is there a separate website for Cooltopia? Okay, clearly, yeah, I've been here before apparently. Cooltopia is the whole Coolcats ecosystem. Okay, there's way more information here, or more information anyway. And there's a marketplace for items, I guess, that are found in the game. So what is this thing trying to be? That is my question. Like, what is the purpose of this project at this point? Is it just to come up with stuff to do so that it continues to survive? Or is there some kind of overarching purpose that it serves? And I'm not saying there isn't. I'm struggling to figure it out from looking at this website. So, because this doesn't give me anything about the purpose of the project. The medium seems also relatively confused. I know also that they've had some issues with like the I think they had a new CEO come in, and then like he stepped down recently. They've had delays in their delivery. There's a kind of I'm getting a sense, and it might be inaccurate, but I'm getting a sense of a project that's sort of meandering around trying to figure out what it is and what it wants to be. Somebody comments in the chat. I played the Cooltopia. They have made lots of changes, recovered from the mess they made in the beginning. But honestly, as a gamer and a game developer, I don't see it as a fun interactive game. I just come online and do quests to earn milk. They do have land sale, etc. in the future. So let's see what more innovation they come up with that keeps holders engaged. And see, that's that's a very circular perspective that I think projects are in danger of taking, even so-called blue chip projects like Coolcats. The purpose of the project shouldn't be to keep holders engaged. That's a nil purpose. It's just like, we're going to try and keep people engaged so that we don't lose this attention that we received. Like, what do you do with the attention? Why do you have this attention? Why do you want to keep this attention? A game normally attracts attention, and then people enjoy it, and there's some kind of game. Like, if you play, whether that's Fortnite or Civilization, two games that couldn't be any more different, or Baldur's Gate or whatever, like, you play the game because you enjoy it, and it keeps your attention as long as it's enjoyable. And then when it stops being enjoyable, it doesn't sort of like keep trying to come up with ways to attract your attention. Some games have done that. The MMORPGs, for example, have refined that to an art form. But the primary purpose of a game is entertainment. And making a good game is really hard. That's another thing that I keep saying in my threads. It's really difficult to make a game that's actually fun and engaging. Most games, if you go on Steam, you'll find like thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of games, and many of them are not too bad, but making a good game and making it successful, etc., is actually really, really, really difficult. It's a really tough industry to make money in. And NFT projects might have an advantage in terms of they have a kind of marketing engine built in, but they still need to build a good game. And if the game is, and you know, one of the issues I have with the play to earn thing with the milk here is that it can easily distort the incentives, like balancing. So creating a good game is about creating something where you feel a sense of some kind of achievement that's fun as you play the game. So you kind of do, whether it's quests or whatever, you do things in the game and you get some sort of rewards in the form of dopamine, basically, that makes you feel like, oh yeah, I'm doing something. Like, I've played many games, and that's one of the major draws of games, is like you get to succeed in this kind of controlled environment where life is a lot more complicated, and you know, games are a bit more easy to figure out the rules to and succeed. And then they kind of, I mean, that's the way that we that's the way we play as humans. And when you throw in tokens that you can earn, that can throw off the balance of those dopamine rewards. It can be a really cheap way to get people to do stuff without it being actually fun. It becomes a grind, a bit like when you're just like killing 1,000 boars in World of Warcraft just to get to that next level. People still play that, and I played World of Warcraft for a while, but it's a very different quality of fun. And when that token is money as well, like that's where the comparison between play to earn and just going to work becomes quite relevant. Like, you know, if you go to a job, you do a bunch of tasks, you go on quests given by your boss, and then you earn some dollar tokens, and you can spend those in the marketplace. It's a very, very wide marketplace. Lots of things you can buy with that. So the play to earn mechanic doesn't necessarily help make a fun game. Yeah. So the main impression as I'm getting from this, like, is that this might have started as I mean, I don't think he knew what it was when it started, but he kind of stumbled into the artist launchpad model maybe. But then it sort of tried to do a whole bunch of stuff to try and maintain attention from the market. And I'm not sure that's necessarily the right approach. About maybe there's something here, Coolcats or collection, or there's the usual bullshit here. Still nothing about purpose. Oh, why get a cool cat? Well, that's an interesting one. Why isn't this on the front page? Aside from participating in one of the coolest curated randomized projects in the world, and getting a fantastic PFP, being a cool cat holder means you'll actually help evolve and build the future of the Coolcats brand and ecosystem. So it's still very self-referential. It's like, join us so that you can help us do stuff, or like, you know, so you can help us be ourselves. But what is yourselves? What is your purpose? Return 20% of all ETH raised to our community through contests. Okay, that's just redistribution. That doesn't make a project community driven to return money to them. That just means that's just another way to hack the rewards thing. People can find a lot more purpose in doing, like, participating in a project that they really want to participate in, where they feel aligned with the purpose, than they will in getting paid some percentage and, like, you know, having lotteries where they might win some money. You have a voice in the community, you can help guide the direction of the program, be looking to you for input to help determine specifics for future development, like breeding. Okay, well, and this probably, since it says 0.02 here, this has probably been here since the beginning of this project. Yeah, I think my main sense that I get from this is, and this might sound like a very harsh comment, but a project that's either lost its way or not really found its way. It's had a huge amount of success and is still riding on that success, but it's unclear what it actually wants to do with that success. Maybe there's videos of the game. Sorry. No, there's no videos of the game here. Yeah, it's still unsure what it wants to do with that success, and still figuring that out. So I hope that the next CEO that they bring in might actually sort of help. Like the first point of order might be to say, like, okay, why does this project exist? What are we actually trying to do here? Are we just trying to, like, keep people paying attention to us all the time for no reason? Or are we trying to build something? If we are trying to build a game, then let's make sure we build a really good game, and let's forget about the milk and all that kind of stuff. Let's just focus on the game building. If we're trying to build an artist launchpad, let's focus on engaging people and like helping them express themselves better through Coolcats. If we're building a passive earning opportunity, let's focus on building the mechanics of that. I'm not a big fan of that model, but that's a model that some people follow. If we're building something that's about partnerships with the rest of the space, let's figure out why that makes sense, and let's fire on all cylinders of that. It feels like the project is trying to do a little bit of everything, and it's unclear why any of those things fit together. It seems to have somewhat committed to making a game, but as somebody commented here, maybe the game is not that much fun, and it's unclear why this game would be fun, certainly from the homepage. Yeah. Another comment there from Prometric. I feel they followed the Macy steps, creating Cool Pets collection, now taking the land route similar to what the other side is doing. They were good as a PFP, but now I don't know. Yeah, I mean, don't copy everybody else. Find your own path. Just because Yuga Labs has done some stuff doesn't mean it's the right stuff to do. Just because Yuga Labs is launching land doesn't mean you should be launching land. If it makes sense for your vision, do it. But if it doesn't make sense for your vision, and for that you need to know what your vision is. And I'm not entirely sure this project knows what its vision is, which is quite surprising for a project that's maintained a price that high for so long. If we look at the all-time chart, it's had a point where, the average price went quite, but basically it's been 5 to 10 ETH for quite some time now. And to do that, it must be doing something of value for these holders, or maybe it's just people using the limited supply to kind of hold up the floor. I don't know. There's all sorts of possible ways to see floor prices as a conspiracy, but I don't want to really go into that. But still, it's maintained a fairly high floor for a very long time. That's probably not all just floor price manipulation. That's probably also there's something genuine, some kind of genuine value that people are getting to pay that kind of amount, and to buy there are sales every hour. There's a few sales, so that's a project that's definitely alive. Yeah. I feel like that's the conclusion that I'm reaching, and I'm happy if anybody else wants to make more comments. Thank you very much, Prometric, for your comments. They're definitely helping. That it's a project that's shot up to fame beyond the expectations of the creators, and it seems like since last year they've been trying to figure out what to do with it, and they've ended up doing a bunch of stuff that other people have been doing in the space. And if I was talking to the founders of this project, I'd be trying to drill down to why are they in this project at all? Why do they care? What do they want to build? They have all these resources here. What is their actual vision that they want to build, their unique vision that they want to build, and why is that important to them? And once they've drilled down to that, then build that. And there's a huge amount of potential here. The art is really cool. Clearly there's a community that's sticking around there, since the price is not dropping and being undercut to zero. So there's a huge amount of potential energy here. Which direction do they want to send that energy in? Would be my question. Maybe it's not a game. Maybe the game is a dead end and needs to be canned, and something else needs to be done. Obviously, that won't be a very popular move, so you need to manage such a move carefully. And maybe a game is the right way forward. I don't know. You need somebody to make some hard choices here, I think. That's my conclusion. And then once the hard choices are made, to clarify those. Yeah. And I understand that, there's going to be some people who disagree with this view, and that's fine. I'm again, the disclaimer that I had at the beginning, this is not a fair or complete review of the project. It's a review based on what I can get from what I see on the website, what information is reasonably easily available, and it's by definition not going to be a complete review. And even if I had all the information, it would still be not entirely fair, because it still could not be entirely fair because it's my perspective, and I'm sharing my perspective rather than making some kind of complete review here. What you are seeing right now is only to decide of the element of your cool pet. It's only 1% of what Cooltopia is going to be. Well, great, but that's not visible on this website. It's not easy for any new person to join. And I'm thinking from the perspective of, like, in order to succeed, so let's say they're building a game. In order to succeed, the game needs to attract people who aren't in the Coolcats ecosystem. Who aren't in the NFT ecosystem at all. People who've never heard of NFTs need to find this website and say, oh, this looks fun, I want to play this. And they need to then download the game and start playing it and pay money for it as well. Like somehow, whether it's by buying items in game or paying a subscription fee or whatever model you want to have, somehow money needs to flow in. It's as per my good old thread about utility. If I load up these charts, NFT project utility, right? Eventually, like, as long as there's only investors, the team, and other costs, this is gonna not be sustainable. You need at some point customers to be paying money here, or investors to be getting some value that's not financial, but effectively, if what they're building is a game, then eventually they need to have this, where customers are getting the value of the entertainment of the game and paying money for it, and that ends up paying the investors. So until these people, the customers, can be attracted, the project is not going to succeed to build a sustainable business. And this website, I don't think, is going to attract customers. Obviously, I could be wrong. I'm not an expert in the gaming industry, but I am a gamer. I have been a gamer for a long time, and I see, like, I don't even know that there's a game here. If I didn't know that Coolcats has a game out, I would just be like, okay, there's nothing to click. There's no call to action. There's no way to download anything. It's this website to attract a new customer is a failure. I think I would say that assertively. Maybe there's some other way that they're attracting new customers, but not via this website. I'll read through the comments a bit now. It seems like there's a bit of a debate going on about this project. I thought with these kind of like big OG projects, there'd be a bit more of a controversy. You need to buy a cool pet in order to quest and earn milk to buy chests with items to feed your pet. To try getting the element you want. Battling will come later on. Yeah, but like, so that means that the only people who are putting money into the system, so going back to my thread again, the only people putting money into that system are investors, people who are buying cool pets. There are no customers. And so we're looking at this diagram. And if the investors aren't getting fun, they're just getting paid to do this, they're just getting paid with their own money. This is not a sustainable model. So as long as it isn't fun for non-Coolcats people, this is a diminishing returns thing where just less and less money is being distributed over time. And either you attract more and more investors and keep the price growing, and then you keep the Ponzi going, or eventually you run out of new investors and the price ends up collapsing. That's just the reality. And people can say, yeah, but there's an in-game economy and stuff. That makes absolutely no difference. This diagram still applies even if you put a little box in here and say in-game economy. Yeah, somebody makes the point. Anyone who can afford that NFT doesn't need a job. Yeah, like anyone who's going to buy 6 ETH, that's $18,000 NFT upfront, does not need to make milk to pay their rent. But it doesn't, like, even that doesn't matter necessarily. So long, the thing is, there needs to be some kind of way that people who don't buy Coolcats are going to play this. Prometric, is there a request we can make to review a project or thinking the Citadel? Yes, please jump into the Discord, which is for once not in the description of this video, but if you look in the description of any of the other videos on the channel, you'll find a link to the Discord, and suggest a project and I'll add it to the list to be reviewed later. There's a few in the queue right now though, but it will happen sometime in the next week. Cool. Okay, I think I'm going to call it a day for this this video. I hope it's helpful. I'm curious to see how people react to having the video separated, the project review separated. I think it was really worth it, especially for this project, because it's much more voluminous than a lot of the other projects that I've reviewed, because it's been going for so long. Yeah, I hope to see you tomorrow for another project review or charts review if you're into those things as well. So I think I'll try this tomorrow again. So there'll be the charts review live stream at 2 p.m. and the project review live stream at 3 p.m. UK time, and that's 9 a.m. EST, 10 a.m. EST. So thank you very much for dialing in. I hope this was of value to you, and I look forward to seeing you again. Cheers. Put a little bit of music before dialing out. Thank you. Have a lovely day. Enjoy your day.